Good evening and welcome to On Point. I'm your host, Kalila Reynolds. We're talking things road traffic this evening. We're talking about the situation on the nation's roads, the indiscipline, particularly as it relates to taxi drivers and the bus operators, especially those coaster buses. The Senate has delayed debate on the long-awaited new Road Traffic Act, and I hope that they are able to make some progress with that very soon. One of the reasons they did delay that debate, though, is because of the strike that transport owners and operators went on last week. They're particularly opposed to a segment of the amendments to the new Road Traffic Act that would hold transport owners liable and accountable for the infractions of their drivers. Yeah, we're going to be discussing that a little bit later on in the show. But first, let's take a look back at some of the top business stories this week.
At number 5, the Frankfurt headquarters of Germany's biggest bank, Deutsche Bank, have been raided by prosecutors in a money laundering investigation. Germany's public prosecutor alleged that 2 staff members have helped clients launder money from criminal activities. Prosecutors are looking into whether Deutsche Bank staff helped clients set up offshore accounts to transfer money from criminal activities. The investigation was sparked by revelations in the 2016 Panama Papers. At number 4, Jamaica and the United States will be cooperating more on energy and infrastructure investment. Prime Minister Andrew Holness and U.S. Secretary of Treasury Steven Mnuchin signed the agreement this week. The 2 countries have agreed to cooperate to further diversify Jamaica's sources of energy to power the country's economic growth. They'll also be looking to integrate cleaner energy sources, including natural gas and renewable energy. The U.S. Treasury Secretary says it provides a foundation for Jamaica to play a pivotal role in regional Caribbean energy growth, integration, and security. And speaking of renewables, at number 3, a renewable energy company is one of the 2 new IPOs that investors will have a chance at before Christmas. The Germany-based MPC Caribbean Clean Energy is launching its initial public offering IPO on December 3. The shares will be cross-listed on the Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago stock exchanges. Meanwhile, Jamaica's largest pharmacy chain, Fontana, has also confirmed plans for an initial public offering IPO, which BATV News understands will be before the holiday. Fontana, which celebrates its 50th anniversary this year, has 5 stores across the island and a 6th under construction in St. Andrew. And taking the top 2 spots this week are a series of transactions shaking up the banking and insurance industries. At number 2, Sagicor Financial Corporation SFC is being acquired by Canadian company AlignVest Acquisition for $500 million. Once regulatory approval is received, SFC will be listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange and will delist from the stock exchanges in Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, and London. The transaction will not affect shareholders in SFC subsidiary Sagicor Group Jamaica. SFC will also retain its original name. And in a related move, Scotiabank is selling its insurance arm in Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago to Sagicor. It's your top business story this week. The 20-year distribution deal will see Sagicor being the exclusive provider of insurance products for Scotia's customers. Meanwhile, the Canada-based multinational bank is also selling its banking operations in 9 other countries across the region to Trinidad's Republic Bank for $123 million.
And when we come back, we hear from JATU, the Transport Owners and Operators Association. We hear from the Transport Authority and the police. Stay with us.
Welcome to The Business Year. The Business Year is a global media group specializing in economic news and business intelligence. We bring our readers first-hand insights from over 35 countries. Each of our country-centered publications features over 150 face-to-face interviews with local leaders in business and policy. We are The Business Year.
GrowthTech is making connectivity like oxygen. Wherever you see the GrowthTech free Wi-Fi, feel free to connect. Watch, connect, and go, allowing you to chat, check, browse, and email securely. So when you're on the go and need to connect with friends, family, or a team member, or just stay updated, look for GrowthTech's free Wi-Fi. GrowthTech, making connectivity like oxygen.
This is Weekend Business Report. Economic windfall.
Unsecured loans.
Alleged corruption.
Follows the closure.
If they made this investment.
Brokers
Strive to increase revenues.
He sought some answers. Financial meltdown. Here are the week's final. Here's Garth. News Roundup.
Camille, it's back to you.
That's Weekend Business Report with me, Keneal Gale, Saturdays and Sundays.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Welcome back to On Point. Well, many bus and taxi operators withdrew their services in the corporate area last week, leaving passengers around the area stranded, some for hours, some for days, couldn't get to work or had to find alternative means. The bus and taxi operators were protesting pending amendments to the Road Traffic Act. Now, the Senate has since delayed debate on that very act after the House of Representatives passed amendments to it. Here's more.
Debate on the Road Traffic Act has been postponed in the Senate to allow for public education and consultation with stakeholders. Education, Youth and Information Minister Senator Ruel Reid, who moved for the delay, said the decision was based on concerns expressed by taxi operators and their respective associations. Among them is the provision for motor vehicle owners to be ticketed for breaches by drivers of their vehicles. Passed in the House of Representatives on November 13 with 6 amendments, the Road Traffic Act 2018 replaces its 80-year-old predecessor, which was enacted in 1938. The bill was first proposed in 2014 and was then placed before a joint select committee of Parliament for review. It establishes new offences as well as provides increased penalties for road traffic breaches. It also includes features such as a restriction on handheld devices and a requirement for drivers to have their license always in their possession while operating a vehicle.
Well, we're joined by a full slate of guests this evening, a full panel to discuss the matter. Beside me is Paul Phillips. He's Public Relations Officer at the Jamaica Association of Transport Owners and Operators, JATU. We also have with us Petra Keane Williams. She is the Corporate Communications Manager at the Transport Authority. And we have Deputy Superintendent of Police, Errol Adams. He's in charge of public safety at the JCF's Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB. Welcome all to On Point.
Thank you.
Well, let's start with you, Paul. Where does the situation stand now as it relates to the transport owners and operators? You're back on the job, back on the roads. What's going on now?
Yes, well, the taxi drivers and operators are on the job in full flight. Anyway, we are still awaiting discussion with stakeholders on certain points. Well, we had a meeting with the minister, and he promised to look through some of the points that we went there with, and he said that after looking through them, him and the technocrats from his ministry and his cabinet members, he will get back to us. So we await that and see in the wait and see mode.
Okay, so it's not necessarily that the concerns have been allayed yet, but you're in discussions.
Yes, because the dialogue has been started, and we appreciate that.
But what I understand, Petra Keane, is that the transport owners and operators were perhaps a bit misinformed about what the effect of the new Road Traffic Act would be, particularly as it relates to what they said they were protesting about, in terms of the drivers being fined, the owners being fined for infractions that are incurred by the drivers. Is that so? What's the situation there?
Okay, so I know there's been, Adams rather will speak more to it, but the concern that they had was that they thought that all offences that the driver committed would then become the owner's responsibility. However, the Act speaks mainly to offences committed where the offences are detected using electronic devices. So, for example, at a stoplight or wherever there's, for example, license plate recognition software, then in those instances, the ticket would be sent to the owner of the vehicle because, of course, the license plate is what would be used.
Mm-hmm. DSP?
Yes, just to piggyback on what she has said. Indeed, the electronic capture system that they intend to, introduce soon. When the offense is committed, of course, the device will capture the license plate, and the license plate will only point to the owner of the vehicle. Section 69 of the new Act says that the owner is at liberty to record all the particulars of any person that they are giving their motor vehicle to drive. Their names, their addresses, current addresses, if it's different from what's on the license, that they are licensed to drive a particular class of vehicle, and so on. So in the instance where an offense is committed, yes, the owner is at liberty to present those information on the driver, so the driver can be prosecuted for that offense. But in the event that the driver cannot be located, the owner is still liable.
The owner is still liable. Right. So is that explanation acceptable, Paul?
Well, I would say no.
Why not?
I would rather to know that part of the Road Traffic Act would take out complete, because.
So then nobody should be held liable?
The driver.
No, but if they can't identify the driver, if let's say the driver sped through a stoplight, so the policeman wasn't there to pull him over or her over, then who must get that ticket? Nobody?
But what the government is trying to do is to move the responsibility of finding person for themselves to put it on us, the owners. Mm-hmm. And we are saying no.
But only in certain circumstances, though.
Yes, but not because it's only in certain circumstances. Jamaican system have a tendency if tell you one thing and then creep up on next thing, and then when they realize it is done there on the books. So they're just going to tell us that no, to get comfortable, and then when they realize, the tickets start to come in the mail.
You feel like it's a bait and switch.
Yes.
So your issue is trust then.
Well,
you don't trust
that is also
system.
a part of it. That is also a part of it. And we are saying that, all right, right now the system set up a way where drivers have X amount of outstanding tickets. And the government is saying that they have a problem to find them. You can't put the burden on we, the owners of motor vehicles, to find them. The government need to.
But if they're driving your vehicle, then you know how to find them.
No, but the government have the address, they have the TRN number and everything. The government have a body named the police, and they have one body, the court. Mm-hmm. So those two entities are supposed to form together and try and find those drivers.
So DSP, you're here. Yes. Why can't it be done that way?
What we find happening, is that sometimes the address that's on the system, sometimes the address that is seen on the license presented, when those addresses are visited, the persons are not known. So we are saying that if you come into my employ, mm-hmm. then it is your responsibility to have the man's full particulars, to know where he lives and can be found. And so in the event that that information is needed, you can provide it. Presently, that is not being done. We have had instances where we have asked owners who was driving a vehicle at a particular point. Mm-hmm. They said Tom Strokes. Mm-hmm. And when we do the investigation, Tom Strokes is not the man's full name. It's not the man's correct name. The owner does not know the man's correct name, nor where he lives. He just walks, the driver just walks off the street and is offered a job. Gets into trouble, he parks the car and he's gone.
And moves to another operator.
And moves to another operator.
He's employed by someone else afterwards.
Is that how it works, Paul?
Well, with the present system, yes, drivers come and drivers go.
But that can't be acceptable.
But the owners of motor vehicle, we don't, a person, put it this way then, a person will come to you and tell you that they live at 24 Parade Street. You accept it, but you as the owner, you don't have any control over the person if he lives at 27 Parade Street. You accept him as a driver, knowing that he can drive, and then what next? We can't follow him go, when he finish work at night, we follow him go home and see where him go to sleep. We can't do that.
As long as you get your money though,
no, it's not, right. No, it's not a matter of as long as you get your money, but it's all about the reality of what is happening out there. A person come to you, you give him a vehicle to keep and care. And then him work, him bring your money, come give you, yes. But you cannot follow him every evening, every night to find out where he lives. I have think of a solution.
But at the point where that driver comes to bring your money,
yes,
you are able to locate him. At least what? How often you collect the rent or whatever you call it? Once a week?
Well, it depends. It varies.
So say once a week,
yes,
you are in contact with that person.
Yes.
Whereas the police, they can't find the location, they can't find an address, they don't know where this driver is.
So
but you, the owner, are in contact with this person, say once a week when you're collecting your money.
But the driver did not make my money in the air. It's not an airplane, so he didn't fly in the air. He operated my vehicle on the ground, on the corridor of the ground.
But I'm just pointing that out to say,
so the police can't find him.
Perhaps you can see why they're shifting this responsibility to the owners, because you all have direct contact with the drivers and a relationship with the drivers.
Yes, but that responsibility is too much for us as owners, I think. Yes, we can farm farms together for them to fill out. And when they fill it out, yes, when the police call us, I need the information of John Brown. Yes, here's the farm, John Brown address, isn't it? Fair enough, we give it to you, we can pass it on. But it's up to you now if you go prove if this dear John Brown live. It's not my duty now for run go find out if John Brown is living at this address.
I just wanted to ask a question. Do the owners screen the drivers in terms of getting information? You're employing somebody, you're giving them an asset that is valued millions of dollars to keep and care. What checks do you do? How do you know that the driver won't disappear with your vehicle?
Well, you ask a valid question, but in our case, a driver come to you. You see the driver then. So in cases, you see the driver because you're in the street.
Okay.
And you might admire a particular driver. You say, boy, you know, something like how this driver operate. Because you might see him over a period of time. And you say, well, I want to get that driver here in my car for work. You might see him, you approach him, or time allows him to approach you. When him approach you, you say, you ask him, I would like to see your driver's license. You look at it, you realize that, okay, him have a valid driver's license, PPV, and you ask him, so you're still living at this address? Driver will tell you no. You have someone be honest and tell you yes. And then you say, sure. At times, at the immediate time, you might not go with him to find out if it's there him live. But you might say you give him today, tomorrow you might surprise him and say, where you at? He might say him there home. All right, where you say you live again? And him tell you. Sometimes, them don't remember what them tell you, say them live, but when you write it down, you catch up on them there and then that. Because you have a lot of person in the street who really and truly, the fact of the matter is, you have some men who really move from girl to girl then, put it that way. So them don't really have a stable address. While you have some who is family man who you know so they live with. Because you ask some of them question, you have children? Yes. They live with baby mother? Some of them honest, them tell you. You ask some question and them tell you. So right there and then something screech up on them to see if that's how them live with you. While you have someone you go there, another them live. But because you realize this person is, what do I say now, a willing person, you're thinking of, in the back of your mind, you say, well, everybody deserves a chance. So give him a chance, because you see him in the street working daily, and you know, say, this is his livelihood, so you know him not run going away with your car.
Okay.
But so, aren't you concerned about how the drivers drive your car? Because if they're driving recklessly on the road, not only are they incurring tickets, they could be damaging your car as well and costing you insurance, costing you repair money and all that stuff.
And Kalila, I'm not going to sit here and pretend as if that is not a problem out there. Yes, the indiscipline is out there. And that is a fact. But the point of the matter, as I said earlier, at times you observe drivers and observe them pattern on them. Because even at some point right now, you have carry a driver go to the insurance company. And when you carry them go there, if their name is bad in accident, the insurance won't accept them, period. So once them not have the accident for like 3 years, that kind of send you a message, because there's a claims bank system set up with all the insurance companies. Once you're carrying that driver name, that driver's license with the name, they go on them system and them check it. This person don't have any accident for 3 years. He might have outstanding tickets, but this person don't have any accident. Him you want, because at least him not mash up vehicle, him not mash up your vehicle. So right there and then you have certain confidence in this driver, and worse, the insurance company accept them.
So that's part of your vetting process.
Right.
So Petra Keane, where does the Transport Authority come in all of this now?
Okay, so for the Transport Authority, when we're issuing a license, we ask the owner of the vehicle to provide the badge of the driver that is going to operate the vehicle. The badge is really an identification card that signals that the Transport Authority has done its due diligence check on the driver. To get a badge, the driver needs to clear his outstanding tickets, also provide a police record, and undergo training through HeartTrust NTA. The training deals with the legislative framework, Road Traffic Act, the Transport Authority Act, customer service, and conflict resolution. So at the point at which we hand a license to the owner would have declared and named a driver who has met the qualification of the Transport Authority.
And how long is that badge valid for?
The badge is valid for 2 years.
For 2 years. And at the end of the 2 years, in order for it to be renewed, what's the process?
They have to do everything over. So they have to present the similar information in terms of a police record, because a police record has a validity period.
And you can check outstanding tickets at that time as well?
Yes, we have access to the database, so we are able to check the outstanding tickets for the operators.
So then that's the point that you can just weed out the bad drivers then?
That's true. What we are doing is pursuing the suspension and revocation policy. That policy has been approved by our board, and then we need to put some systems in place to implement that, because in order to suspend, revoke, or refuse to renew a road license, we have to have that in place. So we are far advanced with that, and that's something we anticipate will come on stream shortly.
All right, let's take a break here. When we come back, we'll examine more of these issues on the nation's roads. Stay with us.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, product launch, workshop, or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357, or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
As the end of the year draws nigh and the celebrations begin, let us add some magic to the festivities with our BATV Christmas mix. Why settle for blah when you can have fa-la-la-la-la? 60 advertising spots, 10 crawl spots. This $1.6 million package is all yours for only $45,000. Don't wait. Contact our sales team today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Our gift to you. BATV Christmas Mix. Offer valid until December 31, 2018.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show. And Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Welcome back to On Point. We're speaking about issues on the nation's roads, particularly in the public transport sector. We're joined to my left by Paul Phillips. He is the PRO, Public Relations Officer at JATU, the Jamaica Association of Transport Owners and Operators. We also have in the house Petra Keane Williams. She is the Corporate Communications Manager at the Transport Authority, as well as Deputy Superintendent Errol Adams at PSTEB, the police's new Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement branch. Yeah? Welcome back to On Point. So Paul, yeah? We've been talking about the new Road Safety Act and the changes that are being deliberated in the Parliament. But are you willing to accept, though, that this is going to make a major difference in the way the operations are carried out on the road, the way people drive?
Yes, and that's the whole truth about it. But what I'm saying is that some of the fines...
It will improve things, though.
Yes, because the new Road Traffic Act is going to help police the system. If the new Road Traffic Act implement the way it is right now, sooner than later, a lot of bad persons have to just leave. But
which is what we want.
Yes.
We want those bad drivers off the road.
But the next thing again, well, I'm just saying that is the fines. I would like the government to reduce some of the fines.
But then if you reduce the fines, then there's no incentive to follow the law?
Yes.
Because the fine's too cheap?
No. There's one fitting in the Road Traffic Act that is going to help police the system. The merger of the traffic headquarters, the traffic court, and the ITA.
What's the ITA? Island Traffic Authority. Mm-hmm.
Once you see that come in place and start to enforce, a lot of the indiscipline is going to cut. Because one, the system now, it no account for what the left hand know then, the right hand don't know it, and when the right hand know, head tap don't know it.
That's true.
But when everybody know, it is going to make a difference. Because why? If you have one outstanding ticket, your license won't be able to renew, you won't be able to buy a fitness fee, you won't be able to license your motor vehicle. Next thing, the point system, it is going to have more teeth. If you lose 2 points today, or say last month, and you lose 2 points December, and you lose 2 points March, it is going to affect you. In this old act that is there, if you lose 4 points last year, and you lose 4 points June, and you lose 4 points December, it doesn't count. Because it's different time. But with that system in place, it is going to police itself because nobody is going to want to lose any points because every point add up. And once you lose, like, I think 10 points, you're suspended for 6 months.
14.
And then if you lose 14, you're suspended for a year. So nobody wants to lose any points. So if you lose 2 points last year, lose 2 points this year and 2 points next year, it is going to affect you. So the system is going to police itself. Okay. So the fines itself, I think the government can reduce a lot of the fines because the fines...
But if you don't commit the infractions, you don't have to worry about the fine.
That is the point.
Well, I agree,
that is the point.
But the system out there doesn't allow that because...
The system doesn't allow you to not commit infractions?
Hold on. Why I say that? With all due respect to Mr. Adams, as a senior officer, the police force, you have officers out there who, because them in the uniform of police, them things that them can come a road, come abuse drivers, and while abusing drivers, I'm just being fair, while abusing their powers then, that be, them give driver tickets that, trust me, never really needed. Never really needed. And because of that, a lot of drivers have tickets that, because you see one next thing with the system, Kalila, the traffic court is our next problem.
Let's take one issue at a time because you outlined many things, and I do want to ask DSP Adams to respond to that particular targeting of drivers. But before that, Petra Keane, some other things he said first. I want you to respond to Paul's idea that these particular changes aren't necessary, that once the merger is done, that will address these issues within the system.
I'm not sure I appreciate all of what he's saying. I understand that, sharing of information is important. Paul left out the Transport Authority. He said the courts, the police, and the ITA. Yes, integration will be important and it will help to improve the system dramatically. But I think that if we still have some of the issues unresolved, prior to going into that system, it wouldn't really make that much of a change. So we have to really look at each of the situations that we're trying to remedy. And part of what I think the Act is seeking to do is to address the whole issue of accountability of individuals, motorists in general, and in particular, well, the associations have raised, what level of accountability they are willing to accept.
But he does make a good point about the different agencies not being in communication.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
What the right hand, how you put it, what the right hand do, the left hand, left hand.
Yes, and I agree with that. I totally agree with that because the integration is important. Can't work. Right.
And that is one of the main problems in the old Road Traffic Act to allow, because even the other day they are saying that they caught 2 drivers with 1,500 tickets.
700 and add tickets
no,
each.
two of them combined, 1,500. Be honest. What allows that to happen? What allows that to happen?
The lack of integration.
Ridiculous.
What allows it?
No, I'm agreeing with you on that point, but I'm just saying that there are other issues to be dealt with.
Yes, but that is a main factor in allowing all of that. And I go to the traffic court part of it.
But DSP, you know over what period of time they accumulated all those tickets?
Sometimes it's years ago.
Long time,
these particular 2,
no, man, it's a long
generally.
So then how come that didn't come up, Petra Keane, when their license was to be renewed after 2 years?
No, but it doesn't, because an individual is driving a vehicle doesn't mean that he has a badge. Right? Because many of the owners name a driver who has a badge at the point at which you're getting the road license, and shortly after, they change the drivers. So you have a different driver, not the one that is named at the authority driving the vehicle.
And that would be illegal to do?
Yes, it would be illegal for the person to be operating a public passenger vehicle without a badge, and that's why many of them are prosecuted for
badge is different from driver's license.
Yes. That's correct. The law requires that the operator of a motor vehicle that is being used as a public passenger vehicle have a badge, and that is why it requires that, because there's further due diligence that is required for a public transport operator who is going to be taking commuters for several hours during the course of the day. And that is why that is a requirement, because you need that due diligence check before they get on the roads.
So DSP Adams, this allegation now that the police are unfairly targeting some of these good drivers, tell me, what's your response to that?
I have heard those allegations. Many of them yet to be justified. But we say to these persons that, look, if you think you are unfairly treated, if you think you are being prosecuted for an offense you did not commit, you can seek redress in the courts.
Who's going to really realistically go through that process, though?
If you want to give up that right, then it's up to you. But you have, well, if you think you're unfairly treated, then you have that right to go and seek redress in the courts. And they tell you all kinds of stories why they don't take that route. They can't afford to give up days. A case takes too long to
and that is true.
To go through the courts.
That's true. That's a legitimate reason.
With the police officers, court days, when a police officer wake up this morning and have court 10 o'clock, him don't need to sign in a station because what? Him superior knows him have case, or he might tell him for instance, say, me have case tomorrow. Once him over court, for him paycheck done o'clock. When a driver leave the road and go court, for him they dead. That's a fact. 3, 4, 5, 6 times you're going to court. A lot of the police them don't come court. Sometimes because the judge don't want to throw it out, they have to be subpoenaing officers. So you go to court 3 times. And when you realize the 4th time, the police come up. The police might come that time, the case still not try. When you go back the 5th time, the police not come again. So things do happen and case drawn out and waste you, because the police will tell you have some of them officers when they tell them, say, officer, you want to say, go tell the judge. And I'll them someday. So me I tell you of a fact, you have some officers, them do them job without fear or favor and without prejudice. You have a next set of officers, when you see them put on them uniform and say, my name, constable this, or sergeant that, hyper than them in them clothes.
Well, if I may kill you,
so
you hear these stories and you ask the question, who are these officers? Help us identify them so we can deal with them. You never get that information.
No name, no badge number.
You never get that information.
But you can't
if you ask me, the police aren't targeting these rogue taxi officers enough because the things I see them get away with.
Next thing again, Khalila, when they touch that part, if you check, I'm not talking about arbitrary area, which is a sore eye. In an arbitrary, yes, a lot of taxi operators bungle up and stop persons from going about their business. But the real issues of indiscipline and bad driving committed en route to the destinations, like the out and bad or whatever, certain drive that endanger persons. At those points, they are not being caught. You know who get caught? The person who down an arbitrary, them mostly charged, those persons charged obstruct traffic, disobey no parking, disobey any other offense, seat belt. So the dangerous driving continues up the road. Them now get catch up.
And that is why we have the electronic capture system coming in now to deal with those issues. Because we realize that they're very rampant.
The cameras are already up?
Quite a number of them are up.
Really? Where?
They're there. They're there.
So,
I can show you images.
Oh?
Of actual license plates and vehicles that have committed infractions. I can show you images of that. So the cameras are out.
You know, as
we're
Paul,
just waiting for the legislative support now to deal with the thing.
As Paul brought up halfway tree, something that surprised me tremendously recently was learning that halfway tree to Papine is not even a legal route. And I know Petra Key knows why I bring this up. I didn't even know this is not even a legal route, and that is a common route. As you go there, the drivers advertise their route and the loaders advertise their route, halfway tree Papine campus. So for me to find out that that's not even a legal route, when you have policemen stationed in that very area right by the park where they park their vehicles to take passengers on that route, how is that allowed to happen for all these years? DSP?
Well, it's not allowed to happen, you know. What we find happening is that a lot of these operators, they are granted what is called Hackney carriage license.
That's correct.
It allows them to operate, right? But what they're doing is that instead of operating as the Hackney license directs them to do, they operate as routes. And they have been prosecuted.
What's the difference between the Hackney carriage license and the route license?
Okay, so a Hackney carriage license is a chartered service. So you really should be able to say, you know, stop the vehicle, and the vehicle is chartered as a whole. So, you know, what happens with a route taxi is that you have individuals paying individual fares along a particular corridor, and that vehicle operates along that corridor. So, for example, Maxfield Avenue to Halfway Tree, which is a legal route taxi route. Okay, so that is the route that the operator would ply, and they can pick up and set down along that route. The Hackney carriage is not supposed to be operated that way. It's supposed to really be a charter. So if you want to go to Nationwide from here, for example, or anywhere from where you are, you charter the taxi. You can take your family, and the vehicle is chartered as a whole. So all the persons are paying one fare. So what you find happening is that the operators take individuals with a Hackney carriage license and charge them separate fares. So they're actually operating contrary to the terms and conditions of their road license.
But those separate fares basically make up what the fare would have been had they charged for one route.
Right, but the law is very specific about how a Hackney carriage
Halfway Tree to Papine is what? Well, if it was a Hackney carriage, what would you charge? $500, $600? $700. And then a route fare is what, $100? And you take what, 4 people?
I don't think they take 4 people. We have found that they take many more.
No.
Yes, we have found, and we have prosecuted for over
5 people,
overcrowding, excess passengers.
But it still works out to less than what they would have made had it been chartered as a whole.
Right, but recall the law is very specific about how the vehicle ought to be operated. It says the vehicle has to be used as a whole.
But a lot of times we do group charter, especially in the peak hours of the morning, you know.
Group charter?
Yes, you have a lot of, sometimes all 5 friends, all the 7-seaters, you have drivers out there who friends and friends group up and them just say, yo, come, driver, how much you go? And then just group up and then call friends and then board a taxi and them taxi load and them gone.
I've found that is an explanation that is provided when we're doing routes.
No, not
services with Hackney carriages.
No, not in our
I'm just saying.
And I've seen where a driver will say to a person, go find 2 of your friends, man, and come back, man.
Exactly, because I make it a group.
It appears as if.
So it appears as if you're doing a Hackney carriage, but you're not. You're doing a route because invariably some of
look 2 of your friends. It's a charter. You're just telling her that, listen, we're not going up the road, so with you, because you can't pay the fare. So here, get 2 of your friends or 3 of your friends and come and sit, and I'll take you, no?
Yes, but are they all going to the same place?
Yeah, they're going to UWI campus or by the hospital or some. So.
And sometimes they're not all going to the same place. You're stopping and picking up.
Well, sometimes you let off. But there are still friends who want to travel together, but sometimes you let off one before you reach to the other point.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think the law sets it out as how you have described it. So it's still, you would still be.
And you know very well that they're at Halfway Tree. You say 1 on drive and 2 on drive, and it's advertised essentially as a route. You know
so you
that.
want to say there's a problem in advertising a business?
Not if it's
advertising for what you're not allowed to be doing.
To do what? To take
as a route.
To take passengers from point A to point B.
No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the distinctions between a route taxi license and a Hackney carriage. And a Hackney carriage is a specific type of license that allows you to take.
And I agree.
Right.
I agree, but
so you shouldn't be advertising that you are doing route when you have a Hackney carriage license.
It's not a matter of advertising that I'm doing route. I'm advertising that I am doing a business, so if you want the business, come, I am here for you to offer you the service.
Perhaps not you personally, but others do it.
So, okay, well, fine. Fair to fine.
All right. So you concede on that point. So Paul, the Senate has now suspended debate on the Road Traffic Act Are there other parts of the act that the drivers and the operators would like to see changed, or that was the specific one that you just say, okay, bring down the fees and also don't make the owners accountable for the drivers? Is just those two?
Well, yes, I think yes. So far, would I like if I get somewhere to park?
And parking.
I
don't know if the Road Traffic Act can address that, but
no,
that's an infrastructure issue.
But within the Road Traffic Act itself, the main point for me was me don't want to pay for no driver offense. None at all. Take that out of the books.
Well, we'll hear what the Senate has to say about that.
You won't have to do that if you verify all the information that that driver can give. Would have given you, so you can give it to the police officer when it's so requested.
My suggestion to even this now, there's still ways out there where if the government just bring us to the table, which the consultation
you're at the table now, you've met with the minister.
You're right, so there are certain proposals that we put to the minister that we are waiting on him to come back.
All right, well, let's see where it goes from here. I want to thank you for joining us. Paul Phillips from JETU, Petra Keen Williams from the Transport Authority, and DSP Errol Adams from PSTEB. Interesting conversation. Let's see where it goes. What's the next step? When we come back, we'll have the numbers and your word on the street.
Business Year is a global media group specializing in economic news and business intelligence. We bring our readers first-hand insights from over 35 countries. Each of our country-centered publications features over 150 face-to-face interviews with local leaders in business and policy. We are the Business Year.
Growth Tech is making connectivity like oxygen. Wherever you see the Growth Tech free Wi-Fi, feel free to connect. Watch, connect, and go, allowing you to chat, check, browse, and email securely. So when you're on the go and need to connect with friends, family, or a team member, or just stay updated, look for Growth Tech's free Wi-Fi. Growth Tech, making connectivity like oxygen.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV, prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Delighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Go for God Family Church.
Today's message is for those of you who thought that Jesus was finished.
Inspiring messages.
I'm here to tell you today that you are excellent. God is excellent.
Empowerment from biblical motivation.
To be glorified means to endow with authority. A woman is a powerful, creative being.
Join Pastor Christopher Morgan and the Go for God team as we go for God.
There's only one recommendation for funding that is ever going to come from me, and that is funding from a bank.
This is the cost to build, and it includes every nail and screw for the building.
Our motto is building communities, building a nation.
Get in the know with the world of real estate with Business Access TV's Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m.
We're taking you beyond our shores, across the region and around the world. Every week, BATV gives you in-depth reporting on the major stories that gripped headlines in the Caribbean and on the international scene. Join us Sundays for This Week Abroad. Business Access TV. Serious about business at home and abroad.
Welcome back to On Point. Several fines are going to be increased under the new Road Traffic Act. Here are the numbers.
Using a motor vehicle in contravention of the terms of the license can land you a $30,000 fine. Using a motor vehicle which is not licensed in accordance with the Act will also cost you $30,000. The fine for driving a motor vehicle without a driver's license or learner's permit in possession is a whopping $40,000 and a disqualification for 1 year. While employing or permitting another person to drive a motor vehicle on the road without the person being the holder of a driver's license can land you a $15,000 fine. If you apply for a second driver's license, even though you already have one in that class, you can be slapped with a $50,000 penalty. Providing false or misleading information to the authority on your application is also $50,000. Running red lights and stop signs will cost you $24,000 under the new Road Traffic Act, while speeding can cost you as much as $30,000, though the penalty varies depending on how fast you were caught going.
And our On Point team hit the streets and asked Jamaicans, do you agree that transport owners should be held accountable for the actions of their drivers?
No.
Why do you agree?
Because each person that commit an offense should be questioned and held for their own actions.
No. Why you don't agree? Because the person who is operating the vehicle is responsible for the vehicle. So any offense that they commit on the road, they are responsible.
No, the drivers, them drive bad on the road and them go on with them things that them supposed to pay the ticket.
No, I don't. Why you don't agree?
I feel the driver should be held responsible because he should abide by the road traffic law. So whenever time he got a ticket, he has his own. He should really responsible for what he have done.
Absolutely no. Why you don't agree? Well, my driver should responsible for his own ticket because it's a business may run. So if my driver go out there and breach the road traffic act, I cannot be responsible for it.
This is Weekend Business Report. Economic windfall.
Unsecured loans.
Alleged corruption.
Follows the closure.
If they made this investment.
Brokers
strive to increase revenues.
He sought some answers. Financial meltdown. Here are the week's final. Here's Guard. News Roundup.
Camille, it's back to you.
That's Weekend Business Report with me, Keneal Gale. Saturdays and Sundays.
Have grown from 20 million US to now having 800 million US dollars.
Knowledge, skill, and professionalism. Those are my tools and my armor.
It's a big men don't cry, right? It's a big men don't cry, right?
We were being robbed some $531,000.
been angry to the point where I feel like I would kill people.
We're taking you beyond our shores, across the region and around the world. Every week, BATV gives you in-depth reporting on the major stories that gripped headlines in the Caribbean and on the international scene. Join us Sundays for This Week Abroad. Business Access TV, serious about business at home and abroad.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
We are serious about the business of real estate, so catch Home Sweet Home Sundays at 4:30 p.m. or if you missed it, check our website at batvja.com.
Boy, a lively discussion that was, and a range of views from the people on the streets as well. Me personally, I feel like these drivers need to be prosecuted more, if you ask me. Need to be targeted even more, because I see them get away with some ridiculous things on the road. Just cutting off people, you're driving, a taxi just comes out of nowhere, running the light. It's too many things. I think, indeed, the owners need to be held accountable. Somebody needs to be held accountable, because they're the ones, as I was saying to our representative from Jet2, Paul Phillips, they as owners are the ones who are in contact with these drivers regularly. And if you can't figure out who the driver is because they don't have a valid driver's license or a valid badge from the Transport Authority, then yes, indeed, hold the owners accountable. So I hope that that is a measure that the Senate actually doesn't back down on, since they've suspended the debate and they're still considering what it is going to be going forward. But I hope that's something that they indeed do enforce and keep the fines high. Yeah, if you're not driving bad, you don't have to worry about paying hefty traffic tickets. Simple as that. That's where we're going to leave our show for this week. My name's Kalila Reynolds. I want to say thank you to all our hardworking production team. And thanks to you, our viewers and our sponsors. See you next week.
On Point was brought to you by Growth Tech Limited.
Well, let me pray and then go right into something new. Somebody says something new. Look at somebody and say, be you. No time to be nobody else. Say, be you. Say, I need you to be you. How many of you have been being you, the you you've been created to be? Well, we'll find out. Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. We declare that there's no better place to be on a Sunday morning than in your presence, Father God, among good people, godly people, people that are going after God. Father God, in these next few moments, I pray that you would be glorified, that you would be lifted up, Father God, that you would be magnified. Lord God, make me small, make me insignificant. Father, make it not be about me, even a little bit, Father God, but that you, oh God, would be glorified. Father God, I pray that you'd open every heart and every mind to receive your word today. Father God, may they be inspired and informed and moved and changed for the better. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. We're beginning a sermon series called Be You, and we're going to be doing our best for you to understand the power that is in you. We're going to be talking about, just over the next, maybe it's just about three sermons in this series. We're going to be talking about why you have to make sure, say, you are being you and not being anybody else. I want to be honest on what I'm talking about. Is if you would just be you, you would be fulfilled. Somebody say fulfilled. If you would be you, you would be free. Somebody say free. We're going to be talking about how you can be all God created you to be. So turn in your Bibles to Matthew chapter 5. Matthew 5, I believe it's verse 48. One verse, and it's going to shock you. Some of you never came to church to hear this, that's for sure. All right? And turn your Bibles, Matthew 5, verse 48. It says, be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. Lord have mercy. How many of you came to church to hear that you need to be perfect? All right, some of you came to church to hear, oh, you don't really, God loves you even though you're not perfect, and none of us can be perfect, and you came to church for that message. But God is saying today, if you're going to be you, you have to understand that you're going to be called to a higher level. You're going to be called to some kind of godly level, where God is saying, I need you to be perfect just like I am perfect. And he's not talking soteriologically here. He's not talking about being perfect, meaning in relation to sin, and perfect meaning not sin, right? Because that's not what they're talking about here. They're talking about a doing. They're talking about a becoming, right? He's saying, be perfect, because he knows that you can be perfect, right? Just say to yourself, well, that's a lot easier said than done, right? Being perfect is a whole lot easier said than done. How many of you would love to be perfect? You'd at least love to be good at some stuff, right? I'd like to be perfect in some of the important things. I had a rough life growing up because I wasn't perfect, right? I remember in prep school, one of the worst situations I found myself in was when we would go to PE class, right? And it was PE, and it was football day, and I was excited. I had on my football boots, I had on my, pull up my socks all the way up here, and it's football day, and I'm excited until the PE teacher says, okay, I'm not going to pick the teams today. I'm going to call some people to pick the teams. And I was like, oh, Lord. And then he said, okay, Watson, Golding, you come, and you pick the teams. And I'm like, ah. Because I had a problem when it came to being picked for one of the football team, for the football team. And it was a horrible situation for me, because they would stand up there. How many of you know what? Everybody is over there, and these two guys that have to choose who they want to be on their team, who they think the winners are. And I knew this was going to be a long, long morning for me. A very embarrassing morning, and I hated these moments in life. And they would say, I pick you, I pick, and they would say, Omar, I pick Omar. The other one would say, well, I pick Gary, right? I pick Howard, right? Well, I pick Mark. And the whole time I'm over here, I'm just like, and I'm doing as well. I'm stretching, right? I'm doing the bow leg, and I'm like, if them say the bow leg, they must. Because if you don't have bow leg, you can't. I know many of you know I don't have bow legs, so I had to do it, right? So I'm like, You know what I'm saying? I pick you, and I'm over there, and I remember I was thinking, but you don't even know this. You don't even know his name. You just picking him, you don't even know his name. It's his first day of school. You don't even know if he can play, but you don't even pick. You're picking him, right? Now, 5 minutes later, somebody 5 minutes, say 5 minutes later, it feels like an hour has gone by, and I'm still standing up over there. 20 players later, I'm standing up over here, me with a guy in a cast, right? Right leg in a cast, left hand in a cast, and Watson is over here, and he says, I'll pick Chris. And I'm just like, really? You know what I mean? After all that time, right now is when you pick me over there. They say, I had a rough life. All I wanted to be was picked. How many of you just wanted to be chosen? How many of you know what I'm talking about? I just wanted to be picked, and then all I wanted to be was on the winning team. I wanted to feel like a winner at least once. You know, much less now. I come to church, and God is telling me he wants me to be perfect. Somebody say, I just want to be picked. And God is saying, be perfect. Lord have mercy. So somebody say, it's a lot easier said than done. Go ahead and turn in your Bibles to 1 Samuel chapter 16. Would you have picked me? You'd have picked me? How many of you would have picked me? Let me see. 1 Samuel 16, you'd have picked me? Somebody say, I'm not too sure. You or the broke leg guy? Lord have mercy. 1 Samuel chapter 16. Somebody say, be perfect. All right. 1 Samuel 16. And the Lord said to Samuel, he's the prophet, how long are you going to mourn for Saul? In other words, you anointed Saul king, and Saul is doing foolishness. Right? He's not a good king. Seeing I have rejected him, God says, from reigning over Israel. Fill thine horn with oil and go. I will send thee to Jesse, the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons. Go to Bethlehem, go to Jesse's house. He has a bunch of sons. One of them is going to be king. And he must set the oil in the horn, and he must anoint him. How many of you have the context? You get it? Right? Verse 6. And it came to pass that when they came, he looked at all of the sons, them lying off there, and he looked at Eliab and said, surely the Lord's anointed is before me. And verse 7, but the Lord said to Samuel, look not on his countenance, don't just look at the outward appearance, or on the height, or on his stature, because I have refused him. He's not the one, for the Lord seeketh, not man, the Lord seeth, not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. Verse 8, then Jesse called Abinadab, and said, say the next one here. And he made him pass before Samuel, and he said, God said, neither hath the Lord chosen this one. Then Jesse made Shammah to pass by. All right, must be Shammah now, right? And he said, Lord said, neither hath the Lord chosen this one. And again, Jesse made 7 of his sons. Somebody say 7. The Lord made all of his sons walk past him. 7 of these guys walk past him before Samuel. And Samuel said unto Jesse, the Lord has not chosen any of these. How many of you see what is happening? You're talking about the oldest, the tallest, the cutest, the smartest. All of them pass in front of him, but God did not choose any of them. Who did God choose? Verse 11. And Samuel said to Jesse, are here all thy children? And he said, there remaineth yet the youngest. So it's like a boy. And behold, he's out there keeping the sheep. Right? And Samuel said unto Jesse, send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come hither. We're not sitting down until him come in, because none of these guys make it. And I have to anoint somebody as king today. And if there's only one left, then guess what? Must be that one. Right? Verse 12, and he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy. Somebody say ruddy. Right? Ruddy means red. He's like a red boy. Right? He's ruddy and withal of beautiful countenance, and him pretty. Right? And he's goodly to look at. Him nice to look at, yeah. And the Lord said, arise and anoint him, for this is he. You need to understand that what the Bible is saying here in this description of David is that he's like a young red guy, and him kind of pretty. and kind of good to look at. Right? I don't know how that what you picture in your mind, but that's not what a king looks like. Right? That's not really the kind of guy you want to follow into battle. Right? It's not describing a man's man. Well, him kind of pretty and him red and him young and him small, but him nice to look at. Right? That's not describing a warrior. That's not describing a king. As a matter of fact, when Goliath saw David coming to him and said, what is this little boy you sent? Come, this little red boy. He literally said again, this little ruddy guy you sent to me. This little young man that you sent to me. In other words, he don't look like a king. He don't look like he should be. Can you imagine them sending all the brothers out to the prophet and saying, now you have to choose the best of the best here. You have to make sure that you choose what God chooses. How many prophets we have here this morning? How many of you would say, I'm prophetic, I can choose what God would have chosen? You're afraid. Everybody afraid? Let me just ask again, how many prophets we have here? You hear the voice of God. Every now and then you choose the right person. Right? God said, I have a husband for you. You feel like you could choose the right person. Right? God said, I have an employee for you. That was a single person. God said, the right job, you can choose the right job. You can choose the right employee. Some of you, you're just a good prophet and you're choosing good. It was a challenging situation for Samuel to walk into. Let me see how you would have done. Here's what they did. They brought these guys before the prophet. Let me show you some guys. They brought this guy before the prophet. And they said, what do you think? And the woman said, well, I would anoint him. I'd like to put my horn of oil on him. And God said, calm down, calm down, ladies. He is not the one. Him too old, him too. And he brought another guy before. Said, bring in another one. And I said, Jesus. And the ladies are like, well, crown him Lord of Lords over my life. Some of you ladies want to crown him. Sit on my throne. Okay, so, but God said, no, this one, him too tall. It's like, well, he's just 6'1". That's not too tall. That's not tall enough. Right? He's enough, ladies. God said, no, let's try somebody else. Brown is on here. How many of you know brown is back? Light skin is back in, ladies. I don't know what you... And God said, no, I'm too pretty. This one too pretty to be in he's not good. He's not good for what I have, what I need. So send in the next guy and say, okay, well, yeah, he looks like a warrior, but him too big, him too strong. Too strong, he'll break stuff. All right, well, send in somebody else. I said, okay. Well, he looks like a leader. He looks like a leader. And all of these guys that they brought to the prophet, he didn't want them. Can you imagine if he brought these guys, you'd be scratching your head. Some of you you'd have stopped at Denzel. That's the point I'm trying to make. But God is saying, no, I'm looking for perfection. Send in the last one, God says. Send in the last guy. Somebody said perfect. I want you guys to get the point. The point that God is making, right, is that we're different. The difference between us and God is that we make choices based on what we see, right? Based on what we feel in the moment, or what we think we're going to feel later or something, But God makes decisions about what he knows. And God knows everything. So when God says, no, it's not Denzel, and it's not Idris, and it's not Boris, right? But it's heart. When God says, no, it's not that one, it's not that, but it's this one, I say that he's perfect. God is saying that because he knows something. So God said of David, this is the one that I choose. Because this one is perfect. Somebody say perfect. This one is perfect for the purpose I have. The giants that I need slain, him can slay them. The nation I need built, he's the one that can build it. The songs I need written, he's the one that can write them. the temple that I need built. He's the one that's going to see it. He's going to be the visionary, and he is the one that is perfect for all of what I need. God knows something about us. The owner, the manufacturer, is the only person who can say, no, this one isn't perfect, but this one is perfect. God said, no, David is the one. I know that you have a lot of choices. You know, I know that there are a lot of people passing in front of you, but this one, this I know he doesn't look like it, but he is the one that is perfect based on what I know. God knows some stuff. I believe God knows some stuff about you that makes you perfect for what he knew. Let's look at that. Let's look, Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5. Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5, it says, before I formed you in the womb, guess what? I knew you. I knew something. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appoint you as a prophet to the nation. Somebody say, before I formed you, I knew you. You have to understand what God is saying to Jeremiah, what God was saying of David, he's saying of you. And he's saying that before I formed you in the womb, there's something that I knew. And this word knew means intimate, an intimate knowledge of a person or a thing, right, that a maker has, that a creator has, the originator of a thing, right? So God had an idea, God had a dream, God had a desire, and he created you for that thing. What I'm saying, he had the dream first, he had the idea first, he had the purpose of the thing first, right? And then he created the thing perfect for that thing. God didn't create you and then put you down to do something. There was something that he dreamt of, something that he knew and therefore knew about you, and he made you perfect for that thing. And you have to understand, God, because he knew perfectly, he was able to create perfectly. Somebody that knows perfectly what a purpose is able to create perfectly for that purpose. Somebody say, I'm perfect. God is saying, I formed you before you came into this world, perfect for purpose. Let me tell you what perfect means. The word perfect, and there's 5 words you can write down. The word perfect means complete. Somebody say complete. God is saying, you're perfect, you are complete. Right? He's saying, you have everything you need to be who I've called you to be. You understand? You're complete. When I formed you, I gave you everything that you need when you were just a seed. I gave you everything. I formed you perfectly. Another word is accurate. Right? You are accurate. What I've called you for, you are accurate to do that thing. You can do that thing accurately. You'll hit the target every time when you're in purpose. You're perfect. Number 3, you are specifically suited for that thing. Means that you are ideal. Right? Now, no matter what you see around you, you would push some other people ahead of you. You would disqualify yourself, because very often we see the good in others before we see the good in ourselves. We see the perfection in others for situations before we see it in ourselves. Many of us, God is saying, no, you are ideal for what I've called you to. Somebody say specifically suited. Lastly, you are particularly equipped. You are particularly equipped. You are perfect, not lastly, number 4. You are particularly equipped. Meaning you are able. Everything that you would have needed to be able to do what God created you for, God's dream, God's purpose, is already there. You are already equipped. Lastly, without flaw or blemish or error. Without. You're without a whole bunch of stuff that you don't need. Just so you know, you can have some stuff that makes you imperfect. You can have too much and it makes you imperfect. So there are things that are perfect because they don't have some stuff. So perfection is a combination between you having some things and not having some things. Perfection is a mix between you being both made with some stuff and being made without some stuff. Some of you have been fighting the reality that you don't have some stuff, or you've been created without some stuff. God is saying that you're perfect, right? And he's saying, before you were born, I formed you. And I formed you perfect. I formed you complete and accurate, suitable. I created you ideal for that thing. I created you without some stuff. I created you perfect. You need to understand that you're perfect for the purpose that God has created you. Everything about you that God put there, right, is perfect for what he wants. Everything. See, some of you don't understand. I'm talking about some internal stuff. The way that you think. God made you that way, the way your brain works. It might be challenging to some people, but God loves it. Right? Some of your idiosyncrasies, God put them there. The giftings and the talents that you have, God put them there. God made you perfect with some of these internal things and some of the external things. Your height, God is saying, it's a perfect height for what I need you to do. All right? Your hair, it's a perfect texture and color for what I want you to do. I created it like that. Right? Your nose and your ears and all of this stuff. I was the one that formed you. Right? Because some of you have been either blaming your mommy and daddy or giving your mommy and daddy credit. God is saying, your daddy didn't give you those eyes. Right? I want you to listen to what I'm saying. No, your daddy didn't give you those eyes. I gave you those eyes. Right? Some of you, you're in the club talking about you shaking what your mother gave you. God is saying, no, your mother didn't give you that. I gave you that. And you need to stop shaking it. Because I didn't give you that to shake it. And you're in the club talking about shake what you... No, say, God gave me that. Ladies, say, God gave me that. Come on, men, say, God gave me this. Everything and all of who you are was created by God with purpose in mind, and it is therefore perfect for that. Somebody say, I'm perfect. I'm perfect. So understand now, here's what God is saying. He's saying that in the kingdom of God, leaders are not, kings are not made, they are born. In other words, in my kingdom, you are born as a king. You don't vote yourself in. Nobody votes you in. Right? We don't take a poll. We don't vote. Right? You don't steal your crown in the kingdom of God. Right? In the kingdom of God, kings are born that way. They come that way. In the kingdom of God, they come that way. So God is saying, no, my heroes are born heroes. They're not made heroes afterwards. They come that way. I mean, in seed form, I form them. In baby form, they come out as a hero. You understand? I'm just saying. So what God is saying is that when Samuel comes to anoint David, and Samuel takes out the oil and he's pouring it on David's head and he's rubbing it and he's saying, you are God's chosen king. He's not saying you are now becoming king. Right? He's saying you already were king. You were born as the king. Right? And so the anointing of David wasn't to make David become anything. It was so that David would acknowledge who God made him before he was born. Somebody say acknowledgement. It was so that David could acknowledge it, and so that David could therefore release all of the perfection that was in him. Because up until that point, I'm not sure if he was hiding in the shadow of his brothers. And if he was saying, I just gonna go outside with the sheep. Maybe I won't become anything. Maybe I'm not anything because I'm not the oldest and the tallest or the smartest. Some of you don't know the struggles of being the youngest child. But you have issues. I'm just telling you, issues. One bigger, one taller, one cuter, one everything. They said, no, right? And Samuel said, no, listen, you are God's anointed. And you need to release all of the perfection that is inside of you, that God put inside of you long time ago. God is saying you are already perfect for purpose. Somebody say, I'm already perfect for purpose. So what I'm saying is that you didn't come here to grow into perfection. You didn't come here to grow into what God wants you to be, right? You are just called, all you have to do is grow up. He didn't call you to become anything. He's not saying, now you must become. All he's saying is that you already are, and you must just, all you have to do now is be better. All you have to do is be better. Let me explain. In 2004, at the Wyndham Hilton, whatever you want to call it, whatever it was back then, we're at the hotel, and I am surrounded, because they called me up, I'm surrounded by 8 bishops from around the world, right? African, all over the place, Cuba, all international stuff, people from foreign, right? The Bishop Blair and Bishop Morgan, all these guys are there, and they have the oil, and they are pouring the oil all over me and saying, we anoint you as a pastor. Can you imagine they're doing that to me? 2004, I was ordained, I have the certificate, right? And as they're doing it, I'm sticking out my chest and I'm saying, finally, I am picked for a team. You understand? Finally, I'm somebody. Finally, somebody's picking me on their team, and I have my head up and saying, look at who is picking me. I mean, these guys are the big-time bishops, right? And God said, listen, no. They're not the ones that are picking you, right? I picked you a long time ago. Sometime in the 70s. They are not picking you. Never ever think that is man picking you, or you have to go wait for man to tell you who and when you can be what you want to be. God is saying, no, this happened a long time ago. What needs to happen right now, Christopher, is that you need to release. If there's anything inside you that's not yet released, if there's anything inside of you, if you have any inhibitions about the man that you are, you need to release it now, because you are my pastor and I created you perfect for it. So if you're being imperfect as a pastor, well, you need to grow up. Somebody said, grow up, Pastor Chris. You need to be who I created you to be. God is saying, no, these guys are not anointing you. These guys are not making you into a pastor, sorry. All they're doing is acknowledging what I've already done, and I need you to acknowledge it. God is saying that the day that you acknowledge His purpose and you allow yourself to be released, you will find yourself in perfection, fulfilling His purpose. I've started with my daughter from now. My Amara is 4 years old, and Daddy tells her, you're a worshiper, because she's singing all the time, right? And I'm telling her from now, you are a worshiper. She's like, I'm a worshiper. And I said, okay, you are a worshiper, you are a songwriter, and you are a worship leader, and you're going to be in front of people and singing. You're a worshiper, you're a songwriter. And I'm telling her no, because I'm not waiting. She's not waiting on anybody else. She's going to acknowledge that now, so she can be so I'm pouring it into her. During the week here, you know, I'm just preaching my sermon to my daughter. I'm sitting down there with her, and I say, okay, baby, and I'm on the floor, she's on the couch, and she's playing in my hair, right? Daddy, daughter time. Someone say, oh, right? And I'm saying, okay, this is going to be a little bit more productive than she thinks. So I say, so baby, let me just tell you something. I say, do you know that before you were born, before God made you, He knew you, right? Before God made you in mommy's belly, He knew you, and that means you're perfect, right? And I'm explaining to her, you know, it's from a scripture, and He told Jeremiah, before you were made, He knew you, and therefore you're perfect. And she just starts singing. She said, He knew me, He made me, He knew me, made me perfect. He knew me, He made me, He knew me, made me perfect. And I'm saying, yes, baby. And it goes on to say, right, that before you were born, I separated you. And she says, oh, He knew me, He made me, He knew me, made me perfect. I say, yes. And what He's saying to Jeremiah is that I called you before you were born to be a prophet. She said, oh. And she's like, shut up, Daddy. She covers my mouth and says, but he knew me. He formed me. He made me. He knew me, made me perfect. He knew me. He made me. He knew me, made me perfect. And I just want you to understand, Daddy had to shut up so that the worshiper could worship. You understand? And I don't know that there could be some moments in our life when we were growing up that who God had created us perfectly to be got snuffed out by some daddy that just wanted to get on with his sermon. Marsha was trying to put her to bed maybe 2 nights later or something, and she's putting her to bed, and she's just singing. And she said, calm down, baby. You know, it's not singing time, it's bedtime, right? Stop singing, you know, it's bedtime. Just calm down. And she's singing, and she's just singing, making up songs, singing. And Mommy said, it's bedtime. Stop singing right now. Go to bed, right? And she said, but Mommy, I'm a worshiper. I said, okay. You know, I guess, you see, in her mind, what she's feeling on the inside and what she's thinking is that if I'm a worshiper, then every time is worship time. And when I feel perfect is when I'm worshiping. When I feel good about myself is when I'm doing what God says I am. And when I'm being who God says I am to be. She feels perfect when she worships, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because she's in purpose. She's in purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that you will be perfect in purpose. Somebody say, I'm perfect in purpose. Say one more time, I am perfect in purpose. I can't swear for what happens when you're outside of purpose, right? You know, so you were created for purpose and created on purpose and are perfect in purpose. And I know some of you say to yourself, well, I'm grown now and, you know, I don't feel perfect, right? How many of you say, I feel far from perfect. I'm here to tell you that if generally in your life you feel far from perfect, it may be because you are far from purpose. If you just can't get yourself to feel perfect, it might be because you haven't gotten yourself wrapped up in purpose yet. Because God created you perfect for that thing. If you want to feel perfect, you have to feel purpose. Some of you are saying, but I'm so unhappy, right? You are unhappy in your life because you're not being who God created you to be. You will always be unhappy if you are not doing what God intended for you to do. You're doing all kinds of other stuff. Some of you, I know some people, they're chasing after and fighting to be the greatest, right? To be the best, to be the richest, and to be the fastest at something, and to be the first. And you're fighting to be the greatest, but in actuality what's happening is that you're so far out of purpose that you're just being the unhappiest. You will not feel perfect until you feel purpose. The feeling of perfection is to be felt in purpose. It's time for you to get in purpose. It's time for you to figure out why God created you that way. For you to, what God created you to do and the person that He created you to be. In purpose, I believe that you begin loving yourself. Some of you have some things about you that you think that it's really a curse, or it's a burden, or it's a flaw. And God is saying to you, no, in purpose, you will find that those things are really beautiful. Many of the things, a lot of the things that you don't like about yourself, you're going to love in purpose. I believe that some of you have not even started to love yourself the way God wants you to love yourself. You haven't started to appreciate you. Some of your idiosyncrasies, some of your issues, some of the things about you are perfect in purpose. You can ask King David. Let me tell you a story. I'm going to close with this. One of my favorite stories. It's a story of a pig named Porky. Somebody say Porky. And yeah, so, oh, there's Porky, right? So Porky had a rough life, right? Because Porky was so different. You see, Porky's belly was fat, right? Porky's belly reached down to the ground and his feet were short and his nose was stuck up in the air and his tail was little. And he looked so different from everybody else. All he wanted to do was run around all over the place. Meanwhile, all the other pigs, they were rolling in the mud and all that kind of stuff. And Porky was, and they used to make fun of Porky because he was so different, right? And they would say, you know, you're Porky, you have your belly bang, right? How your belly is a bang, how your belly is a fat, right? And your bottom stick up in the air like that. And they have a son, your belly is a fat. Your bottom stick up in the air like that. I don't know, I just made that up. Okay. So they say, you know, they're going to come and they're going to make you bacon. And they used to make so much fun of him. And he would run off and he would hide himself. And, you know, and he would say, God, why? You know, why did you create me like this? So different. And when he wasn't praying about how much he didn't like himself, he was trying to be like everybody else. And he would walk around and he would tuck in his belly. And he would hunch his back so his bottom is something and push his nose down. And he would walk around and he would try to be like everybody else. Try not to wiggle his tail. And all he wanted to do was run around the place, but then he would tuck in his belly, hunch him back, keep his nose down, keep his tail still, and go and roll around in the mud, trying to be like everybody else. Tucking in belly. How many of you walk around all day tucking in your belly? You know what I'm talking about. It's not easy to tuck in your belly all day. And my belly tuckers say, God help us, son. And he would, you see, he hated himself. He would ask God why, and he would try to be like everybody else until one day, somebody say one day. One day the owner came to the pen. He was looking for Porky. Didn't see Porky running. Porky was in the mud. He said, Porky, get out of the mud. What are you doing in the mud? He picked up Porky. He took him and washed him off. Put him into his truck, right, in the front seat. And it's generally when the pigs are leaving, they go in the back of the truck, right? And he's like, oh, I'm really in trouble now. I'm in the front. And he put Porky right beside him, and he started to rub Porky on his belly. And say, oh, Porky, you've been eating like Daddy wanted to eat. Look at your belly. I love your belly. You're so perfect. And he's rubbing him on his belly and saying, you're so perfect. Your little feet, your little nose. You're so perfect, Porky. You are so perfect, Porky. And he's rubbing him on his belly and you're so perfect, Porky. And Porky's like, I'm perfect. You know, because the belly rubbing feel good. He said, but what he's saying to me doesn't make any sense. What do you mean? You know, because I don't look like everybody. No, but you're so perfect. And the car stopped. And he got out, he picked up Porky, and he's walking, and there's activity all over the place, and there's a big sign that says, State Fair. It's the State Fair, and Porky and his daddy are walking through now, and all of a sudden, the children start to run to Porky, and big people start to run to Porky. I'm like, oh my God, he's so cute, oh my gosh, can I rub his belly? You know, and Porky's like, yes, you can rub. And they'd rub his belly and say, oh, you're so cute, you know, you're so perfect. You're so cute, you little pork belly, you little pot belly pig. And they're rubbing his belly. And it's like, he's like, I'm a celebrity, but I don't understand. You know, I still don't like myself. Right? And the father took him to the middle of the state fair. And he heard something. He heard an announcement come across that said, and now, the moment that we have all been waiting for, the pot belly pig race. And he took Porky and he put him down in the middle of the fair. Everybody is standing around. He put him down, he put a number on him back. And Porky's sitting there, standing there, and he sees all these other pigs and he's like, oh, now I understand. Oh my goodness, now I understand. Now I understand why my feet are so short. Now I understand why my belly bang. Now I understand why my nose up in here. Now I understand why I just love running and I can't stop running and I just want to run and I want to run. Now I understand why I am created this way. And he looks around and he sees all these other pigs like ready to run. And then he heard this horn go off, and his owner went like this, pah, spanked him on his bottom, and said, "Run, Porky, run." And Porky said, "Wee, wee, wee." And Porky said, "Now I understand why I'm the way I am. Wee." I dare somebody in here to say, "Wee." Now I understand why I'm perfect. And he's running. And he said, "I'm not going to make any of them catch me." And he's running and he's running and he's running because he is in the pot-belly pig race. And for the first time in his life, he feels like he is perfect. Why? Because he finds himself right in the center of his purpose. What I'm saying to you today is that some of us have a choice whether we're going to fool around in the pigsty, right? Some of you have a choice today whether you're going to you have to choose between mud or the fair. And God is saying, some of you, I've been trying to elevate you. Today, God is saying, I want to elevate some of you out from being the runt of the sty to being the king in your castle. I want to elevate you from just being a reject to being somebody that is a leader. I want to elevate you, take you from a place where you hate yourself to a place where you truly love yourself. To a place where you're asking God why, to a place where you're saying, wee. Somebody just put your hand on your belly and rub it and say, I'm perfect. I've been created perfect. So God says, David, you need to choose. They're pouring the oil over David's head, and God says, you need to choose if you're really going to be the king I've created it to be, or you're going to continue to be the reject in your family. Go ahead and stand with me. I believe that God is calling you. God is elevating you now. He wants to move you out of purpose into purpose. He wants to move you out of imperfection into perfection. And if you continue looking for perfection in what everybody else tells you need to be, or looking for perfection in the person you've been that you just want to be, you're always going to be happy. But you will find perfection in the purpose that God is giving you. God is saying, I want to take you to the fair. God is saying, I want to anoint you. God is saying, I want you to release that person that is inside of you. It's time for some of you to begin loving yourself as much as God loves you.
Join the Go for God movement today. We need your help to keep this powerful message going on air. Partner with us by making a one-time donation or a monthly pledge. Contact the Go for God Family Church at 631-3377 or send us an email.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, Fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands!
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
There's only one recommendation for funding that is ever going to come from me,
and that is funding from a bank.
This is the cost to build, and it includes every nail and screw for the building.
Our motto is building communities, building a nation.
Get in the know with the world of real estate with Business Access TV's Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m.
The end of the year draws nigh and the celebrations begin, let us add some magic to the festivities with our BATV Christmas mix. Why settle for blah when you can have fa la 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 la? 60 advertising spots, 10 crawl spots. This $1.6 million package is all yours for only $45,000. Don't wait. Contact our sales team today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Our gift to you, BATV Christmas Mix. Offer valid until December 31, 2018.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Business Access TV is here at the Barbican Center for the launch of Keller Williams Jamaica. Stay with us to learn more about this real estate move. I'm Shelly Ann Hill.
Very excited. We have agents from all over the island, some from overseas, different parts of the United States. So it's really a great night for us here in Jamaica. Very proud.
Give us a little background about the company Keller Williams JA.
Well, Keller Williams Jamaica is a new franchise here to Jamaica. Formerly Meldam Realty, it's about a 45-year-old company. Primarily, we were based on the North Coast. However, we are now in Kingston. Our main head office, which is called the Market Center, is right here at the Lasution Shopping Complex. So we're right in the middle of the action. Keller Williams Jamaica came about after 2 years of due diligence on my side and on their side. They're very selective with which countries they go to and which principals they partner with. So I'm very proud to have been selected by them to take the Keller Williams brand here to Jamaica.
Fantastic. And tell us about the Keller Williams difference and what you'll be bringing to the field of real estate here on the island, Jamaica.
Yeah, well, what we do, and we're sometimes regarded as a training institution that does real estate, but we focus on training and education. Even here at the launch, we had a training session. This morning, we had a training session at the University of Technology, and tomorrow, we have another segment of the launch, which will be about training. So we'll have 3 training sessions over 2 days just for agents to learn the language of real estate and how to work towards achieving greatness. We also focus on technology. Keller Williams, a lot of people don't know, we have partnered with Google, and we take technology seriously. So we're education-based and technology-driven. So those are the 2 things which will set us apart from any company in the world.
I am here as one of the top agents, and I'm here to basically counsel the agents, tell them how to move on, how to push on, how to reach their targets. You know, I am the one that they look to for all the questions about real estate and, you know, as a base of comfort, somewhere that they can come to say, well, you know, I'm having this difficulty, or even exciting news, I've achieved this. You know, and we all celebrate, and I'm here to lead them on and to continue doing excellent work and to lead by example.
Prior to being full-time in real estate, I was a career banker. So
So I brought all of that experience to real estate as well. I've been full-time in real estate for the past 5 years, although I've been a realtor for the past 18 years or so. But this has been really exciting being with Meldam and now with Keller Williams. We recently completed the Ignite course. It was fantastic. We feel so energized and just ready to go and ready to just work and make the millions.
Yes. Keller Williams Jamaica officially open to Jamaica and the rest of the world. Thank you, Elvis.
Tell us a little bit about why you decided to join the Keller Williams JA family.
Okay, I joined the Keller Williams family. Their values just resonate with me. You're talking about values like God first, family, and then business. You know, that really speaks to me, and I'm happy to be a part of the team.
And you also are a part of the training that takes place here. How do you feel about the focus on training?
Oh yes, the training was exciting, and it was really edifying. We learned so much that we had not focused on, and now we're ready for Jamaica. Keller Williams is ready for Jamaica.
So the 6 personal perspectives, for those of you who are not aware, were 6 perspectives that Gary Keller, who is one of the co-founders of Keller Williams, he derived from what highly successful people were doing. So he has spent a lifetime observing what differentiates a very successful person from those who do not achieve the same amount of success. And when he looked at that, he came up with these 6 areas that these highly successful individuals were paying attention to, while others may not. So to review those 6 with you very quickly, the first one, if you were with us this morning, is commit to self-mastery. The second one, the 80-20 principle, right? So we have to commit to self-mastery. We have to focus on the 20% that results in the 80%.
Keller Williams is a training and development company that just happens to be in real estate. So we're proud to say that not only is our technology cutting edge, our training is cutting edge. Keller Williams has developed over 66 courses just for real estate agents. And we're proud to have a whole university set aside called Keller Williams University for those agents.
Fantastic, and you had some sessions. Even today you had a training session, and even during the launch this evening you were giving tips, and we had a little mini session during the launch as well. So it seems that training is really your focus. How does this benefit your agents and give them the cutting edge over other agents in the industry?
Absolutely, well that's a great question, and you know, for us, I would say the training is key. You have to have the scripts, you've got to have the experience and the positioning, whether you're going into a listing appointment, whether you're meeting with a buyer for the first time, even when you're closing a sale. You have to know the process through and through. You've got to be able to educate your clients and understand parts that even you're not responsible for. So that's our goal, is to educate our agents on those pieces. And even beyond that, because Keller Williams is a training company, we start from the inside. We want them to get their mind right. We want them to be in a good place so that they're able to be the best that they can be. And that's what we really focus on.
What are your expectations for Keller Williams going forward?
Well, Keller Williams, we just started and we're already outdoing what we thought we would be doing. We've seen 300% growth in not only agent count, but we've seen growth in sales, in listings. So at this moment, I just want to continue growing. I see us growing right across the country, all the major cities. Started with Ocho Rios, now we're in Kingston, now we're going to Montego Bay next, and then we'll see where else we go after that.
So it's not necessarily just a corporate area-based operation. You are focused on spreading right across the island.
Yeah, we will be. We're already in Ocho Rios. We're now in Kingston, and we will be opening in Montego Bay soon. We're actually looking for a location right now.
Tell us about the mandate of the company and the principles governing Keller Williams JA.
Well, Keller Williams Jamaica, our goal is to provide education, to train agents, not just Keller Williams agents, but agents right across the industry. Because we believe if we are doing well and if everybody's doing well, then the entire industry will do well. And Jamaica, the real estate market in Jamaica is doing very well right now. It's very strong. You'll see all the developments going up right now. So we are very excited. Our investors are excited. Buyers overseas, they are very excited about Jamaica. And we are doing our very best to present Jamaica in the very best light. So I must commend all the people who are trying to show Jamaica in its best light, and I must commend everyone who is trying to help Jamaica to become the best country it can be.
That's it from us here at the launch of Keller Williams Jamaica. Until next time, I'm Shelly-Ann Hill.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
When many people think of slavery, they think of Africans in chains, packed like sardines, traveling across the Middle Passage to work on plantations, cutting cane and serving their so-called masters. In fact, that was all truth some hundreds of years ago.
There was nothing called humanity on board those ships. The journey between Mother Africa and the West Indies, the Middle Passage, sheer horror.
The mortality rate on the middle voyage was high. Approximately 13% to 33% of the slaves died. The dense, close, and inhumane manner in which slaves were packed on the deck in box-like trays, 150 centimeters long and 50 centimeters wide and high, led to frequent epidemic outbreaks and diseases.
Fast forward to today, we are free and are able to choose our own destiny. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. Today we join the world in observance of International Day for the Abolition of Slavery. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Stay tuned.
Protect Jamaica, plant your grass. Help us become more resilient to climate change impacts. Protect Jamaica, plant a tree. It improves the island's national biodiversity. Trees may be fruit, ornamental, or timber, but must be native or suitable to the area's natural landscape. Join the Jamaica Million Tree Campaign and help to plant 1 million trees by June 30, 2019. This is a call to action by the National Environment and Planning Agency.
Nanny, or soul heroine, was no different from the men when it came to fighting for the freedom of the people from the British.
Mante, my name is Marcia Douglas, currently the acting colonel of the Charleston Maroon Community, the Chief. Welcome to our museum. So the role of Nanny of the Maroon in Freedom for the Maroon is that she provide, or she make herself into the diligent leader that one would have been looking for. One with spirituality, one with the zeal of moving on, and one with the zeal to protect. And so what she did was to ensure that her people had been served the right way, in which she ensures that they were no longer in slavery. So what she did was to undermine the British on the plantation with the help of her two sisters, Mishibo Kwashi and Shanti Rose. And so doing that, they took their people to the mountains where they had an advantage over the British. The British had to import dogs or bloodhounds from Cuba to hunt them down. Now later on, when the treaty was signed and Jamaica gained independence, it was really a hard tussle for people to recognize Nanny for who she was. Thanks to recent Colonel Harris of Moortown, who had made that one of his deepest dream and one of his aim, one of the most sustainable things that he was going to work on, so that Nanny could have been today the national heroine of Jamaica.
Let's get a little breeze on this land. All right. Now let's get some bounce in the rhythm. All right. Let's get some fire on our hearts. Now that is what we call all right. Run, come, get some Jamaica.
Jamaica has come a far way where slavery is concerned, and as such our flag is not just a symbol of our independent nation. It symbolizes who we are, the strength and hardship of our people. This flag gave us hope, or symbolism of a free nation.
I've traveled all over the world and I've seen the Jamaican flag in so many different countries, and it gives me a sense of pride.
Representing my country and seeing the flag means everything to me. It's an honor playing for the national team.
I've migrated for 19 years and have been living in the US, but there is no greater joy knowing how it has the power to connect us and bring us in the diaspora together.
For me, the Jamaican flag is a language, and it includes me in the conversations.
When the Olympics starts and I see the flag waving, it means a lot to us.
Sunday, August 5, 1962, 2 minutes to midnight. The new flag was about to be hoisted over the National Stadium. The lights were replaced by darkness, as if to expunge the horrid memories of the last 300 years. The red, blue, and white Union Jack did its last wave, and then it was lowered, gently tugged down the flagpole by a representative from the Jamaican militia. It had flown its course a long 307 years, and the replacement was the black, green, and gold, our very own Jamaican flag.
The Jamaican flag was approved by government the 6th of August, 1962. It is important to know that a flag is a symbol which identifies a country. It started on a very sad note. In times of war, people need to identify with a symbol. So where you are standing, you would know that's my side. So the enemy could take away the flag, and then you would be ambushed and then get hurt. But on a joyful and peaceful note, our flag was established in '62 for our symbols. There was a very active competition, and there were many persons who would want to associate with the design, and so an approval was given. Looking at the flag is diagonal in gold, and there are 4 triangles. The top and the bottom green, and the others black.
The gold, represents sunshine and happiness. Our people, no matter if we're going through hardship, we're always smiling.
And the green is for our hope and agricultural resources.
And the black, then in '62, means hardships there are. And that was changed by government in 1997 with a committee presided over by Professor the Honorable Rex Nettleford. So it was changed to mean the creativity of the people. The flag has its protocol. It's never to be put on the ground, and it is placed to the right when you're on the platform. Of course, with athletics international competition, you'll notice people are wrapping the flags all over them. Years ago, that was unheard of because it's a solemn signal. When the national anthem is played or sung, you look in the direction of the flag. We are proud of our flag, and wherever we see it, there are some of us who still bow as respect to our dear country.
When I'm overseas and I see the flag, I feel proud because, not every country is at a big tournament. Not everyone will have their flag flying high.
Our flag is so special because it unites our people wherever in the world we are.
When I look down on the flag, it makes me feel proud as a Jamaican to know that I've been able to serve my country.
So yes, the Jamaican flag gives me a voice. We also have these athletes going to represent Jamaica in other countries. And when other countries see our flag, they feel proud, and we feel proud as Jamaicans.
The Jamaican flag represents pride to me. The other day, someone said we should have a Caribbean flag, and we said we already have one, it's the Jamaican flag.
Jamaican flags, it represents me, it represents you, it represents every Jamaican.
We're no longer subjects of colonialism, directed by the orders of the British, but free citizens of our very own country. O green Isle of the Indies, Jamaica strong and free. Our vows and loyal promises, O Heartland, 'tis to thee.
Nikki baby, come here. You understand, so I have to send you to your auntie so you can go to school and turn out better than me.
When I go be night time.
Piggy, come finish your work.
If you or anyone you know has been a victim of human trafficking, call 811 or 1-888-PROTECT. Be wise. Open your eyes. Spot them. Stop them. A message brought to you by the National Task Force Against Trafficking in Persons.
Modern-day slavery is not something that is defined by law. However, it is used when discussing issues such as forced labor, forced marriage, and of course, human trafficking.
Picture this. A 16-year-old Jamaican girl, Christian all her life, graduated from school. She wanted a job, like many of us. What did she do? She looked in the classified advertisement. She found it, a job, an accountant. She qualified for the job overseas, in a foreign country. She saw a number, a telephone number, attached to the advertisement. She gladly called the number. It was answered on second ring. The person who answered was a female. The person told her to meet her in Halfway Tree at the bus park. They met. They discussed. She immediately got the job. She didn't have a passport, so she was assisted by the female to procure the passport on emergency. She was assisted also with the plane ticket to fly. Her brother gave her $30,000 Jamaican in support of the travel overseas. They were supposed to have left Jamaica within the week of getting the passport. She spoke to her mother on the morning of travel. She said, "Mommy, me no feel like go." Guess what Mommy told her? "Girl, galang, you know, see the whole house one fix." When she reached immigration, because she was accompanied by the person who employed her, when she reached immigration in that foreign country, she was told what to tell the immigration officer. Do you want me to tell you what they told her to tell the immigration? She was actually told to tell immigration that she was there on vacation for 2 weeks only. Remember, she knew she wanted a job and had gotten the job. Actually, she got 6 months in the country. When she left immigration, she was escorted through a side door in that airport, and she was placed in an aircraft. Why? Because the persons who employed her owns aircrafts. Whilst airborne though, she was given 6 pairs of lingerie. You understand that, correct? And said, "Sister, the work, the accountant work that you came for is not up here. Instead, guess what? You have to sell sex."
We'll check back to hear how this girl's story turned out. More than 200 students of Trenchtown High listened keenly to that harrowing tale at their school seminar. They, along with parents, teachers, civic members, and government representatives, including the police, confronted the complex and dangerous issue head-on.
Human trafficking is an issue that affects every single person who is alive. It is a problem that destroys the lives of its victims and their families and communities.
Human trafficking affects men, women, and children. Victims are often forced into prostitution or hard labor and are exploited and abused while deprived of basic rights, most of all their freedom. Lured usually into this unknowingly, often through promises of job opportunities and a better life.
Always a better life.
They operate on poverty. The crime is worth on an annual basis US $32 billion. It's the most underreported crime in the world.
Christ feed the multitude with only one loaf of bread. Poor people, there is
something for you. Don't let the pressures of the system get upon your head. Poor people, there is something for you.
We have a multi-agency approach to investigating human trafficking. So we know that the Ministry of Labour has investigators as well. But at the police level, our job is to do a proactive policing approach. So what we do, once the advertisements have landed...
Social media. Don't post everything online.
The government of Jamaica, having accepted that this exists in Jamaica, and it has crippling effects on our people. So the task force was established, and we have several strategies and things that we do to tackle the monster.
Speaking of tackling the monster, remember our 16-year-old friend who got tricked into selling sex instead of the accountant work? What happened to her?
She was taken to a go-go club, and there were criminal gunmen watching her every move. Her passport was taken from her and other travel documents. Her cell phone was removed from her. And she had to sell sex. Upon selling the fourth sex, a good Samaritan came in to purchase sex, but fell in love with her because she's really attractive. And what did he do? He smuggled her through the back door in the club into police station. And because of that good venture, she led police to rescue 2 other Jamaicans. Now, could that happen to any of us? Too easy.
This could happen to anyone. And your biggest weapon is to be aware. Remember, if you have queries about employment adverts that you see or opportunities to work abroad, contact the Ministry of Labour at 922-9500-14. Children, if you are walking on the road and somebody comes and tries to grab you, scream for help, murder, and run. The penalty for those caught trafficking in persons is up to 20 years in prison and/or a fine determined by the court.
And I was raised resilient people, a tropical island. Oh yeah. And I learned to smile. Here I learned what love is. Authentic Jamaica, the happiest island. Oh yes. So let's remind ourselves and tell the world hello. Hello. I'm a Jamaican. We are Jamaicans. Hello. Hello. I'm a Jamaican. The energy is our people proud and strong. When we stand together, we're rising for better. Oh yeah. We're many but one. Together we will strive. When unity is our strength, we rise from much struggles. Oh yeah. So let's remind ourselves and tell the world hello. Hello. I'm a Jamaican.
Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash no paper, no dash no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your
Keep
eat.
the island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica.
The seas call them home, home, where the northeast trade winds dance through the sounds of reggae, where the cockpit country shadows the world's fastest man, the vanguard of the Caribbean. The seas call them home, home to Jamaica. Jamaica is the third largest island in the Caribbean and the largest English-speaking island state, with the seventh largest natural harbor in the world, essential for a robust shipping industry. Jamaica also has the second largest transshipment hub in the Caribbean. These developments are driven by a commitment to honor the international maritime conventions that Jamaica has signed, establishing a maturing partnership with the International Maritime Organization, IMO. This 40-year partnership brings consistent advocacy for the maritime interests of Jamaica, the Caribbean and the small island developing states and the least developed countries. The seas carry them on, shaping an expansive and progressive maritime vision, fueling a structure and infrastructure of container, cruise and bulk cargo ports, maritime administration and ship registration, maritime education and training. This vision led to the expansion and upgrading of port facilities island-wide to capitalize on additional trade and larger ships accessing services through the newly expanded Panama Canal. The expansion positions Kingston as one of the region's major ports. The Port of Kingston is also equipped to offer a range of maritime logistical services. For example, operating as the regional hub for vehicles delivered to 23 destinations in Central America and the Caribbean. Through German Ship Repair Services Jamaica, the island also offers wet dock repair services and plans full ship repairs with a floating dry dock. Jamaica's commitment to a greener maritime environment guides its fuel diversification with the use of clean fuels, including natural gas. The prevention of maritime pollution is also integral in policy initiatives. As part of this thrust, Jamaica is now acceded to the Ballast Water Management Convention 2004 and is also Falmouth, Montego Bay, Ocho Rios, Port Antonio and Kingston, 5 cruise shipping ports, with the Falmouth Pier being purpose-built for the largest cruise ships in the world. These major cruise ports offer a full range of cruise passenger facilities and services. Awarded the world's leading cruise destination, Jamaica's unique attractions, diverse tourism and numerous recreational and cultural activities are equal sources of attraction for the creme de la creme of the seas, Royal Caribbean's Harmony of the Seas, the world's largest cruise ship and other major cruise lines. The seas sends them out. Seafarers and shipping staff trained in Jamaica for international service are key to Jamaica's success as a maritime state. The Caribbean Maritime University, CMU, is the sole IMO-recognized maritime training institution in the English-speaking Caribbean for the training of officers. The CMU is now poised to satisfy the region's demands in the expanding maritime and logistics sectors with the opening of 5 satellite campuses. Through partnership with the Technical Cooperation Division of the IMO, Jamaica helps countries in the region meet their obligations under the International Convention on Standards of Training, Certification and Watchkeeping for Seafarers. Jamaica has also chaired for 10 years at the IMO, the organ responsible for the international rules for standards of training for seafarers. Jamaica is committed to reducing substandard shipping in the Caribbean. To meet this objective, the island has hosted the Secretariat of the Caribbean Memorandum of Understanding on Port State Control, CMOU, since 2004. In addition, Jamaica is host to the International Seabed Authority. 25 states now have permanent missions to support the regulation and control of all mineral-related activities of the authority. Partnering with the IMO Program of Integration for Women in the Maritime Sector, Jamaica has helped to mobilize maritime women in the region and strengthened their contribution to the safety, security, and environmental protection of the maritime industry. Jamaica has also hosted the inaugural Regional Women in Maritime Association WEMAC conference. Its executive is led by a cohort of strong female leaders, including its first president, a Jamaican. The seas carry them through. Jamaica's long-standing advantages, highly developed shipping expertise, and a skilled and educated workforce has seen our maritime sector blossom into an invaluable resource for the Caribbean and the region. A maritime state, a maritime home, bridging the IMO with the Caribbean and the Americas.
Let's get together and feel on.
This again tomorrow, when we'll do this all over again. Send your feedback on today's show to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. Also follow us on our social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, and of course there's Twitter. Download our app on your Apple and Android devices, and you can also visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for more information. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, product launch, workshop or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357, or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
There's only one recommendation for funding that is ever going to come from me, and that is funding from a bank.
This is the cost to build, and it includes every nail and screw for the building.
Our motto is building communities, building a nation.
Get in the know with the world of real estate with Business Access TV's Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Hi, I'm Richard Panduit, CEO for the Separate Group of Companies. You're watching Business Access TV. We're serious about business.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
We have recognized, and the minister has instructed us to ensure that we are rehabilitating and developing beaches across Jamaica to ensure that there are enough public beaches for our people to, I know sometimes they call us dryland tourists, but for us to enjoy the benefits of this beautiful country. Today is a continuation of openings of various tourism developments across St. Mary, and the minister and his entourage have been just coming from Rio Nuevo village, which is quite impressive, and I overheard the minister saying how impressed he was with it. And so it's a message to St. Mary to say, listen, tourism recognizes you and we are here facilitating the development. Now, tourism is one of those industries where it requires partnerships. And so no matter how much we do from the ministry, it requires partnerships with stakeholders, partnerships with municipalities, partnerships with the people to ensure that the standards are maintained and are as high as possible. And we build on the legacy that we have here in Jamaica as one of the best destinations in the world.
Well, this transformation here at Marking Stone is one of many that we're doing across the island. You see, tourism is changing quite a bit with the advent of technology that opens up an opportunity for the average Jamaican to actually benefit from tourism. It's not only a case where they need to work inside a hotel or to supply a hotel, they can also benefit from renting out their space. Because Jamaica, thankfully, we've been blessed where anywhere you go in Jamaica, you can find a beach or a river or a waterfall or a mountain. You can have some great experience, and with the natural weather and our natural hospitable culture and so on, we end up pretty much having an industry, a resource that's available to every Jamaican to become a tourism entrepreneur. So how that is enhanced is if all the beaches that are dotted across the island are then developed so that restroom facilities are in place. So one, the environment is protected, but we demonstrate respect and provide that convenience to anybody who uses the beach, and so on. So, you know, seating areas, parking spaces, security, lifeguards, and so on. And that's what we've done here, and we are doing across Jamaica to open up Jamaica more. It's not only on the North Coast, or it's all over Jamaica. We want to make it a case where tourists and the diaspora and Jamaicans are enjoying what we've been blessed with naturally. So that is the purpose of investing in beaches like the Marking Stone Beach and getting the result that we have today.
I have visited this facility. I passed by here just the other day before the work was complete, but on entering the gate I was ready. I will do that later. But significant funds on this facility, and as I said, it looks like a first-class beach. Those of us who know Marking Stone before would understand why I am so excited based on what I have seen. The St. Mary Municipal Corporation has owned this facility for a long time. Although, Minister, this is one of the properties that is everybody knows belongs to the St. Mary Municipal Corporation. However, it is in the name of Commissioner of Lands. We have interviewed interested parties in terms of leasing this facility because we don't have the capability to run such a facility. So we have interviewed persons, we have sent to the Ministry of Local Government for them to approve so that we can have somebody run the facility and run it properly as to how it should be.
What does growth in tourism mean for Onoto Bay?
Well, it means a lot in that we will be bringing more tourists here, then we'll provide more jobs and more opportunities for our locals. So it is indeed important to us. This facility that has been renovated, we hope, based on the individual who will run it, we hope it will be run in a way that we will actually get tourists here as well as locals. But apart from this facility alone, we are looking at other heritage tourism developments throughout the parish, and we took the minister on a tour of an area in Portmore, a very historic area, where we are trying to do a tour of that area. So we have formed a committee and we are looking into getting some funding from the Tourism Enhancement Fund to make that tour a reality.
The corporation has authority to manage the beach. How will the upkeep be guided?
The upkeep will be guided by status is under the Local Governance Act, and also our act in relation to our Building Act, the Town and Country Planning Act. We use all of those because as a local building authority, local planning authority, we also work along with other state agencies to manage our beaches, to manage our public spaces. So not only us will be responsible for the management of the beach, but we will also be using guidelines from other state agencies. We'll ensure that the park has the requisite number of lifeguards, has the requisite safety facilities in place, for example, your backboards, your first aid kits, as I said, your lifeguards. As you can see, the lifeguard stands are already here. So we are ensuring that the safety of the members, not only of the workers, but of the general public, are taken into consideration, the security of the site in itself. We're going to ensure that the beach and itself will be developed into a recreational space, a park, so that the locals for not only Onoto Bay but the greater St. Mary will also be served, and our visitors to this country.
What other important purpose does this transformation serve for the people of Onoto Bay?
It serves a very important purpose because it is an active open space. It's somewhere that you'll need for relaxation and rejuvenation, because you work in a very stressful environment no matter where it is, and you are going to need a space where you can relax, you can congregate with your family, with your friends. So this is a facility that is needed for any community to fully develop an active open space area. This, I believe, is one of the premier sites in this area. It is not only going to be
There's only one recommendation for funding that is ever going to come from me, and that is funding from a bank.
This is the cost to build, and it includes every nail and screw for the building.
Our motto is building communities, building a nation.
Get in the know with the world of real estate with Business Access TV's Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point with Kalila Reynolds and Dennis Chung. Dissecting the issues, offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On point. Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, product launch, workshop, or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357, or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
As the end of the year draws nigh and the celebrations begin, let us add some magic to the festivities with our BATV Christmas mix. Why settle for blah when you can have fa la 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 la? 60 advertising spots, 10 crawl spots. This $1.6 million package is all yours for only $45,000. Don't wait. Contact our sales team today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Our gift to you. BATV Christmas Mix. Offer valid until December 31, 2018.
Go for God Family Church.
Today's message is for those of you who thought that Jesus was finished.
Inspiring messages.
I'm here to tell you today that you are excellent. God is excellent.
Empowerment from biblical motivation.
To be glorified means to endow with authority. A woman is a powerful, creative being.
Join Pastor Christopher Morgan and the Go for God team as we go for God.
We're taking you beyond our shores, across the region and around the world. Every week, BATV gives you in-depth reporting on the major stories that gripped headlines in the Caribbean and on the international scene.
Join us Sundays for This Week Abroad.
Business Access TV, serious about business at home and
abroad. It's back to you.
That's Weekend Business Report with me, Keneal Gale, Saturdays and Sundays.
And we're back. Thanks for staying with us for the coverage of the opening of the Marking Stone Beach held in Annotto Bay, St. Mary. Here's more.
You know, it also gives me great pride and a pleasure to be here today. And why this is so, I was whispering in the ears of the minister that this beach here has a special place in my heart as well. I can't tell you why. I mean, I've told him why. And I told Bob also. I can't tell nobody else. But when I was a little boy, I used to come to this beach regularly. And then when I became a young man, I used to come to this beach, but not just in the days, but in the nights as well. Is for the facility to be brought up to this level. And when I toured along with the minister, especially in the bathrooms, this is not just a hurry-come-up bathroom. This is a bathroom that can rival any facility in the world. I mean, the bathroom is well put together. And Bob, this is something that I hope, I may have mentioned it before, and I guess all the speakers will mention it, that building these properties is one thing, but to maintain them is the other thing. We want to know that when you come to facilities, you feel good that you're in the right place, not just somewhere that you just have to use. And this is a country, we're building a country based on excellence. Marking Stone Beach is also a manifestation of the quality development, and I know that Bob, with his expertise, when you come back here, Minister, this lawns will be pristine with green grass and flowering plants all around. And I was mentioning to the councillor earlier about the almond trees. You know, when these grow and become good shades across these seats, it will be a sight to behold. And that's what we want. We want facilities that we not only build, but we are proud to call our own, because we're building this new Jamaica. And before I come down, I want to again say special thanks to the minister. This is one minister, when you asked him about projects that means Jamaica well, he never says no. And I remember just coming into politics, and I asked him about several developments across Southeast St. Mary. And I'm proud to say that he has responded so well, and the people of Southeast is very thankful to you, sir. And look for your continued showering us with your blessings.
We welcome this particular development, as with most developments that are taking place across Jamaica. But this development is special for me in a number of ways. As the Member of Parliament for this area, I mean, the development is welcome, but more importantly, I was born here, and this was one of my beaches that I used to visit when I was a little boy. And you know, I grew to love and appreciate this particular area. As you can see, it's very idyllic. It's away from the hustle and bustle, and it is very suitable for a day of full relaxation and fun. So we welcome it.
What does this transformation mean to you?
No, it means a lot, because what is happening and what has happened to a number of small communities across Jamaica, sometimes the development doesn't pass through or is not evident in those areas. So having something like this now shows that development can come to the local areas, and therefore it's important for us to appreciate this sort of development. And not only that, it might be a catalyst for other developments that will take place in a particular area. As you can see, it sits on the corridor, a major thoroughfare through this constituency.
How will you ensure sustainable management of this here beach?
Well, one of the things which we are very big on is not just the development of these facilities, but the maintenance of these facilities. And what has happened so far, which is quite remarkable, we have had a number of persons, I get to understand, that were interested in this facility, and they've selected one such individual now who is from the area as well. So this is somebody from the area who not only has a business interest, but has a personal connection to it. So the facility is for us in Annotto Bay. I'd like to say thank you very much to the Minister, to TEF, and all the persons who have participated in this, to the Municipal Corporation, the Mayor, and the Councillor of this particular division, which is the Anota Bay division, for their work in getting the facility to what it is, and we are happy for it, and I'm sure going forward the persons who will use the facility will also find that it is a welcome addition to what we have. There are a number of other things which are going to come about in Southeast St. Mary that I'd like to say will happen in a very short time. We are getting a number of things done finally in Southeast St. Mary because we believe that we can take our pride and rightful place in this development and this Jamaica that we are creating.
I'm therefore pleased to be here today to hand over an upgraded Marking Stone beach to complement your offerings. The beach was upgraded by the Tourism Enhancement Fund at a cost of $38.3 million as part of its National Beach Development Program. And I want to make the point that sometimes comments are made in advance of action known to begin. And the actions, when they follow, gives an impression as though they are being driven by another direction. But these series of beaches that we are going to be opening and handing over between now and the end of the year makes the story and tells the tale very well that this represents work done, activities in train, and now work completed and ready to be handed. So we have done the upgrading here, not on the basis of providing a beach facility, but on the basis of providing a complete entertainment facility and an attraction in its own right. And when you look at what is done here, and you see that we have constructed a guardhouse, 3 gazebos, well-appointed restrooms, and I want you to take note of that. When you finish, go and look in those restrooms. And that's what we're talking about, because it makes no sense to have a wonderful beach and a beautiful facility, nice eating areas, and then afterwards you go to another place. We want you to go to a place equally appointed and well prepared and fit for purpose. We have parking facilities as well as landscaping work, among other significant improvements that you will see. We recognize that beaches are a great resource of tourism. In fact, our scenic beaches attract a large number of domestic and inbound tourists. This is why we have ensured that the TEF has committed to transform 1 beach in every parish to a quality recreational space. And remember the point I'm making, not to have a nice beach, but a quality recreational space. And it must operate at the highest and best international standards for a country such as ours. And it must be available to residents and visitors alike. So to date, we have spent $104 million for 3 beaches in the overall beach program. And the next one we will open properly is going to be licensed, where we spend $49 million to upgrade. And then we're going to do Boston Beach, and we're going to do Winifred Beach, and we are going to do other beaches in the west, because the west has to be touched too, and we are going to be doing beaches along the south coast as well. Those of us who have leadership in the political arena have a duty to guide and to lead and to enlighten and to ensure that that higher level of presentation is always kept in sight and not to be part of any process that will help to lead people to be left out of the mainstream of development because our facilities are substandard. And as minister, I'm committed to that process. And this ministry will continue through the efforts of the TEF to upgrade and continue to enhance the quality of the Jamaican product and to ensure that our ordinary Jamaican entrepreneurs, our little man, as we call it, have a nice, decent place to peddle their wares, where they can wash their hands and have proper conveniences, and they can feel and move around with air and space. And the visitors who come can also leave with a good impression and say when they leave Jamaica, what a wonderful little country that I have been. It was a joy to go to the markets in Jamaica. But we know that change is never a linear process, and that change sometimes requires a little bit of hand-holding. And we know that change sometimes causes a little bit of disruption. And sometimes we don't understand it, and when we don't understand it, we become suspicious of it. So we are going to work with our partners, and we're going to make sure that we hold hands and do it right, and do it together, and do the transformation from poverty to prosperity.
We pride ourselves in being a destination. We are careful to note that it represents a huge part of our resources that are being consumed by our people, and that the access represents an important route to ensuring that there's harmony between visitors and locals. So we have moved with energy and haste to prepare and fix local beaches that are appropriate and adequate and appointed for the purpose, so that our people will not be left out and we will feel less catered to because the beaches are not up to the standards.
How does this help or harm locals in the tourism sector?
We are now looking at management to ensure that there is good management here, so that the maintenance of these facilities can be secured and the further upgrading of what we have can be realized.
Who is responsible for the management, and how will it be guided?
Well, we developed the beach on behalf of the St. Mary Municipal Corporation, and what the Municipal Corporation has done is to then go to tender and procure and find a suitable person to manage and to handle the facilities here. So they have done that, and they tell me that they have found someone, and we will be looking to ensure that they keep up to the standard that we want for the beach.
How much of a challenge was the transformation for this beach in particular?
It truly was a challenge, because as you can see, this is just a dust bowl. That's what it was. And with the black sand beach, it's sometimes a little more difficult to work with than the traditional white sand beaches. But I think that the teams did well. Our technical people from TEF and TPDCO, who drove the process, were enough to the task, and they did a great job, and I'm satisfied that it didn't take us as long as we thought. In fact, we figured it might have been a little over a year when we started, but we were able to do it within a year, and I thank them for that efficiency.
And that brings to a close the official opening of Markingstone Beach here in Annotto Bay, St. Mary. I'm Javon Keys for Business Access TV, serious about business.
Go for God Family Church.
Today's message is for those of you who thought
that Jesus was finished.
Inspiring messages.
I'm here to tell you today that you are excellent. God is excellent.
Empowerment from biblical motivation.
To be glorified means to endow with authority. A woman is a powerful, creative being.
Join Pastor Christopher Morgan and the Go For God team as we go for God.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.